You're watching Startup Central with me, Nayantara Rai. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television dedicated to startups, innovation, technology, disruption, entrepreneurship. With that, let's invite our next guest. It is the co-founder of Leap Finance, Arnav Kumar. Why are we getting Leap Finance? Because it has raised $17 million from a clutch of investors, including Jungle Ventures. And we're also being joined by the founding partner of Jungle Ventures, Amit Anand. Amit and Arnav, welcome to Startup Central. Arnav, I'll begin with you because you're the one who got the check of $17 million. You're in the business of providing loans for higher education. You're doing all of that during the COVID era when, we still don't know how education is going to pan out in 2021 and 2022. How difficult was it to get all of these checks, and how has business been?
Sure. No, Nayantara, I must start by saying it's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time I'm here, but I follow your show and love the enthusiasm and energy you bring to a world of startups. Just maybe for the viewers, maybe I'll just take a quick sort of 30-second sort of description of what Leap is. So Leap is a platform for study abroad. So anybody and millions of Indians now are thinking of having a global education and a global career. So at Leap, we are saying, hey, everything you need sort of to be successful for that, it's available at Leap. So at the heart of Leap is a community of 500,000 Indian students who want to study abroad, who come discuss ideas, they have a million questions, they discuss amongst themselves. And on top of that, we have layered the right products that these students need at different times in their journey, whether it is professional test prep, whether it's admissions counseling, whether it is financing, and sort of very proud to say that across all of these products, sort of we have probably the best product out there. For example, our education financing product is almost 4 to 5% cheaper than sort of other products in the market. We are the first ones to launch a bank account for Indian students that they can open in India, go abroad, sort of land at JFK, go to Colombia using a card. We're coming up with a suite of innovative products for this whole segment of study abroad. So that's what we do in a nutshell. Coming to your question, thankfully, Edtech has, COVID has actually been a big boost for us. This whole segment of study abroad and everything associated with it actually moved online. And we being an online platform, it has played beautifully into sort of in our hands in some way. So we have seen phenomenal demand coming onto the platform. The last year, we have helped 20,000 students with different products through our product suite. And we're looking sort of for close to 125,000 students on the Leap platform this year. I think 2021 is going to be a breakout year for sort of both EdTech and especially study abroad. I think the whole pent-up demand from 2020 has played into sort of our hands. It's going to be it's going to be sort of twice or thrice the market in the coming 12 to 18 months. So super excited about it. And as far as raising the round, we are very lucky to find the right partners. It wasn't as hard as it could be. So we are pretty happy with both the progress in the business and the fuel in the tank.
Okay, you're very happy with the fuel in the tank now. Now the car has to move, and how fast it's going to move is going to be the big question. But let me go across to Amit as well. Amit, welcome to Startup Central. You just heard how Arnav is talking about EdTech, the boom. I take that point. I take the point that EdTech has been one of the biggest winners of COVID-19. Just look at what has happened. The user subscriber base, the way consumer mindset has also perhaps changed forever. So my question to you also is, right now, with all this uncertainty, when we don't know whether kids will want to still go to physical classrooms in the United Kingdom and United States like before, when they can maybe also get to the same courses on whether it's an EDX or an Udemy or a Coursera, there's a big leap of faith that you're taking that, yes, college, the way we know it, is going to come back.
Thanks again for having me here. And I think certainly that is a big question that everybody would have in their mind looking at the environment. I think when the crisis broke out, one would have the same questions around going back to office or going into shops, getting on a plane, getting in the bus, taking a ride to your friends, or eating in a restaurant. But I think life goes on. As Arnav pointed out, there are close to 1 million kids every year in India and then many more across emerging markets that are lining up to travel abroad to get higher education, to pursue their dreams. And for every one student that may hold back their admission for a year or so, there are 100 more that are willing to take that leap and hence a very appropriate name for the platform. And in fact, we've seen significant traction in the business come back already. And to Arnav's point, better conversion, more enthusiasm for the students. So we don't think that it has had a long-term structural negative impact. In fact, it's only helped the business.
Yeah, just to add on to that, Nayantara, like we are seeing phenomenal sort of bounce back. My co-founder Vaibhav has been in this business of overseas education for 5 years. We have never seen a stronger February. For all the courses in the popular courses abroad, all the sort of seats are getting filled faster. So I see how you sort of refer to revenge shopping in a lot of your interviews. I definitely back in our segment, and 2021 is going to be the breakout sort of year for study abroad.
Yes, I do love the phrase revenge shopping, revenge vacationing, and when it comes to revenge studying the old way, I know the parents definitely want to have the kids back in school. The kids want to be back in physical classrooms. But Arnav, just taking that point forward, we've also been reading all those articles in New York Times, Wall Street Journal about how college admission forms have never been this high. In fact, a channel check also tells you how many varsities have taken a long time in getting back to the students simply because they've been inundated by the number of applications. Kids around the world thinking, yay time hai, ab nahi to kab nahi. That there is a bit of that mindset which is also set in. But given that, there must still be uncertainty on whether they're finally going to go to the classroom. So what happens then? A kid takes a loan, but doesn't know if they'll make it to the classroom or not.
Sure. So, for example, for international universities, as you might know, India is actually the growth. India and Southeast Asia are actually growth drivers for this whole international student mobility, right? So even the last year, like several million students got admits, then they couldn't go. So the universities are very, very understanding in terms of offering them sort of deferred admits. So many kids have deferred it next year. Nayantara, on a larger point, I think India produces like 10 million sort of graduates every year. Like that's the number, 30 million enrolled, 10 million of them graduate every year. And sort of many of these graduates want to have a global career, want to walk the path that Sundar Pichai and Satya Nadella have walked. They want to go abroad. This is like a bump like this is not going to deter their plans for having a global career and sort of a global ambition. We are seeing all the numbers come back. Universities are very understanding. They're offering deferrals, and the students are happy with that. So they are taking that call.
I think very quickly, I'll jump in here with a couple of points. If you've seen what Australia has recently tried to do, which is the travel bubble between Singapore and Australia, they've clearly set out a mandate that a big part of trying to create bubbles is to bring back the student population to Australia, which is one of the largest industries in Australia. And similarly, governments around the world are doing a lot of work around vaccination passports and travel bubbles to enable both the business community and the student community to get back to life. So certainly, I think the next admission seasons, which is fall, summer, we are very confident from what we are hearing from all sources that they would be able to, a majority of them, get back into the classroom on time.
Okay, let's see how all of this pans out. Meanwhile, Leap Finance getting a $17 million check, saying it's seeing great growth in business as well, and Jungle putting its money where its conviction is as well. Thanks, guys, for joining us on this edition of Startup Central. It's been a pleasure having you. And incidentally, we've got to get you back to talk about your other investment, Jungle Venture. That's, of course, in Turtle Mint. That one is pending. We'll leave that for another time.